What's going on, everybody? Let me get this thing looking. Yeah, there it is. Okay, beautiful. Let me angle this down a little better. A little better. It's the Solomon Project, y'all. Where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns. Welcome back, y'alls. Just want to do a little checkaroni on audio, if you don't mind. Okay, we're good. We are good. As I mentioned in yesterday's live, I got the soap from the professor. It is amazing. My wife absolutely loved it. I didn't get a chance to use it because by the time it arrived, I had already left. But she is absolutely loving the soap and she wants to make sure that I continue to buy that soap. So I got permission from the boss to keep purchasing that soap. The professor, I'm still looking for potential customers for the All Bomb Lady, who has an incredible product. Unfortunately, I can't use it because DOT regulations. Yeah. As soon as I retire from driving or anything associated with the DOT, yeah, I'll be reaching out to the All Bomb Lady as well. But that doesn't mean that you can't. Matter of fact, let me show you who I'm talking about. All Bomb Lady. Because it would be great if you patronize. Guys, listen, if you didn't know, or if you don't know yet, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to prepare yourself. You're going to have to prepare yourself because here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So let me put it up so that you guys can see it. Here's the All Bomb Lady. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and show you the professor as well. So here's the All Bomb Lady. And you can see where it says your plan for relief. She specializes in a particular product to help relieve pain. And here's the professor who is now manufacturing her own soap, her own line of soap. So if anybody's interested, and you should be, and like I'm trying to say, community is more important now than ever before in anyone's lifetime right now. If you were born after 65, then if you haven't learned the importance of community, your survival will definitely depend on it. A new face shows up in town, and as all new faces do, they draw attention. People are going to want to know who this new face is. The neighbors are going to want to know who this new face is. They're going to want to engage in conversation with the new face to find out what they're all about. What brought them here? What do they do? What kind of a person are they? These are common common questions someone would come up with when they see a new face. Well, this new person with the new face, or they don't have a new face, but this new person comes through. And do I need that light in the back? Do I need this? I don't think I need this. Let's see if I need this. I'm just checking to see if I need this. Do I need this? How is it without that light? Yeah, it's all right. It's- So the person responds to everybody's curiosity. The thing is, the way he responds, people are left with probably more questions than answers. Now, when that happens, that person's going to draw attention. That person's going to draw attention. People are going to, y'all see the lightning? People start to speculate because if somebody doesn't give you a straight answer and makes you come up with more questions because your question wasn't answered specifically the way you were expecting it to be answered. And not only that, yeah, you're going to be more curious. And not only that, the way the person is expressing themselves, the way the person is responding, they're letting you know that they can see what's going on in your life. Hey, Rosana, how you doing? Yeah, good morning. So where you're at is morning, huh? You must be in the east, far east out there. So this person, the way they're answering people's questions is okay, from the Philippines. Yes, I have members of my family are Filipino, by the way. And the way this person is responding is the letting people know, hey, I understand your circumstances. I understand your circumstances. And these people can tell that he understands their circumstances because of the responses that he's given them. They are under the impression that this person is better informed about my circumstance than maybe what I think he should know, because I just met him. I just met him, and he's, of course, when a person engages with someone who gives you the impression that they know more about you than you're letting up, or that they should know, they're going to talk about that person their families, with their friends. Hey, I just met. Did you see the new guy? I just spoke to the new guy, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm getting the feeling that this person knows more than what he's letting up. Everybody's going to wonder. They're going to ask, "What do you mean?" I mean, is he from here? Does he have family here? What's No, I don't know, but something about this guy, and of course, that's going to draw more people in. More people are going to approach the new guy. Hey, new guy, how you doing? What's your name? He tells them his name. He doesn't hide that. Where'd you come from? He tells them where he came from. He came from another city. Okay, and he may not answer that question that specifically. He might answer that question with another question, but he lets the person know, hey, I know your intentions. I know your fear. You don't need to be afraid. But people want specifics. People want, wait a minute. That person who's asking is probably saying, I'm confused. What's your story, man? Why are you here? Do you have family here? Did you used to live here? What are you doing here? And again, the response is going to be something that will leave them wondering even more. Yo, who is this guy? There will be some that will feel this strong connection, this strong bond with this person. And this person is going to have answers for people. People at the bottom of the social ladder. He's going to have the type of answers that are, again, they're not clear cut, but he's going to have answers for people in the lower part of society. Hey, Rosana, going to have people in the low. Rosana, if you're Filipina, you might want to listen to this because this is something that a lot of Filipinos identify with. And the people in the bottom of society in that city, they're listening to what this new person is saying, and it may not be clear cut, but they get it. They can identify somehow, and not only can they identify, but they want to spend more time with this new person. Something about the way he's talking to them, the message that they're receiving from him is something that makes them feel different, makes them feel hopeful, makes them feel better than what what the wealthy class or the power structure thinks about the lower class or treat how they treat the lower class. We don't know where this new person lies, whether he's wealthy or poor or what his deal is. We don't know much about him, but the messaging is something we can identify with. Well, the poor people can identify with this. He draws so much attention that the powers that be, the ones that the judges, the jurors, the execution, everybody's wondering why so many people are drawn to this guy. And understand that just like in our society right now, there's the 1%, right? 1% out of 100 that are controlling anything associated with money and power. So it's a big number of people that don't control most of the money and have that type of power. So to have so many people drawn to this one person, of course, people, the power structure is going to be drawn to this guy. They don't want to investigate who is this guy. Why are these people following this guy around? Who is this guy? Is this something we need to worry about? Because he didn't come to us and tell him, "Hey, I'm new in town. This is my deal. This is what I do." He didn't come to us. He's hanging out with the riffraff, with the poor. And all of a sudden, this guy's the hottest thing since sliced bread, and everybody's following him around. No, let's find out what this guy's all about. Now, it's obvious that the power structure wasn't looking into this guy, wanting to spend time to maybe embrace him as a member or as a new member of our city, our town. Their line of questioning him was obvious that they did not have friendly intentions. And it's because there was some fear. There was some fear that perhaps one or many could potentially lose their position of power because of this person's popularity. Way too popular. Yeah, we got to do something about this. Again, they approach him, but it's obvious through their line of questioning that the the reasons for approaching him are not friendly. The engagement is not friendly. And when they ask questions, he responds with questions of his own that the power structure finds very frustrating. Because in his line of questioning, the new person's line of questioning, he's letting them know, and everybody around who can hear these questions, he's letting them know that these people, these powerful people, are not acting on good faith. Not only that, he's showing their hypocrisy. Their hypocrisy, the power structure's hypocrisy is on full display. They could have left them alone. They could have asked the population, "Hey, I noticed that you're following this guy around. Do you plan on accepting him as your leader, as a replacement for us? Is that what's going on? Is he trying to be with us?" They could have found out the answer through the population. They didn't have to go to him and actually antagonize him. That's what they did. They antagonized him. They antagonized them, and then they started making false accusations. False accusations. Well, it finally came to a point where the power structure had enough. They had enough. Now, the power structure was under another power structure, a bigger power structure. And they went to that bigger power structure and said, hey, this new guy that came into our town, he's bad news. And of course, they blew it up into something that it never was. But the bigger power structure said, listen, we don't need any headaches. What do you want us to do? And the smaller power structure, who was blood related to the new guy, not direct blood connection, but as a people, he was part of a people. They said, get rid of this guy. We don't like him. He's got to go. So the bigger power structure held court and they said, listen, we're going to let you guys decide. We don't want nothing to do with this. This is a little too hot for us to even touch. So we're going to let you guys decide. And that new guy, his own people decided he's got to be unalived. He's got to be unalived. For what? For whatever his people's power structure decided that was reasonable enough, which was nonsense. This new person made some claims that his own people were in the power structure were extremely uncomfortable with. Extremely uncomfortable with. But they got their way. They unalived him. They unalived the new guy for made up crimes. Made up crimes. And in their line of questioning to this new guy, remember what I said. The new guy came back with some answers that were actually questions that help illuminate how the power structure of his own people were full of bull. That exposure was unacceptable. The exposure. So they're doing wrong. That power structure is doing wrong. But the biggest crime, as far as the power structure was concerned, the biggest crime that this new person committed was that they were exposed. Yeah. They did not like that, to the point where they said, let's take him out. Hey, Brandon, welcome in. So they were unhappy with this new guy and the fact that the new guy was exposing them, and that's why they unalived him. That hasn't stopped. Humanity continues to do that stuff. That hasn't stopped. The new person in question was Jesus Christ. That was the new person in question. Hey, professor. Yeah, I got it. In yesterday's live, I spoke about it. Professor. Can you hear me, Professor? I can't hear you. Uh-oh, it's the microphone. It's the microphone. So this new person that I'm talking about is Jesus Christ. Jesus was the new person. Jesus comes in and he starts he's hanging out with the lower rung of society, with the riffraff, with the people who are mostly rejected, dejected, criminalized, hated, the whole nine. So new guy comes in. Why are you hanging out with these people? Why? Who are you and why are you hanging out with these people? Professor, still with the microphone, huh? The microphone fiend.
Hello?
Oh, now we got you. We got you now.
Yeah, I've been on hiatus.
I noticed.
And I hadn't been feeling too well. I missed 2 days of work this week.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
My irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay. 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 Are there foods that you got to stay away from?
Yeah. It's funny because I can actually eat meat and it doesn't hurt. It's like meat and water, the only two things that don't hurt right now.
It's carb related foods that agitate you?
Yeah, I can have sourdough bread, but bread wise, that's all I can have. I just had rice because I had some chicken tikka masala for dinner. That didn't hurt too
Ooh,
bad.
that hurt you?
It didn't.
It didn't? Ooh, tikka
Normally,
masala.
yeah, I love jalapenos and I love Latin food, but when I get flare ups, I can't eat that. But for some reason, I can have hot Indian curries. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's not making any sense. But I imagine you went to doctors and they couldn't tell you anything, huh?
Yep,
Or
they said
they
it was
claimed that they
irritable.
knew.
They claim, yeah. But
Hmm.
it could be that chicken tikka might have had turmeric in it, and that's good for stomach issues.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Certain condiments
Yep, I
are
saw
healing for
Brandon
you.
of Palm Beach. Hi, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon's right there. Rosanna's here,
I don't
straight
know
out of
who
the
that
Philippines.
is. Hi, Brandon.
So I got the
One of
soap.
your boxes came back.
Okay, so there was some kind of tool. Did you send a tool with it?
No.
Okay, so there's some kind of tool came with the. I'm gonna show you. Well, let me see if the picture will show up because the soap arrived at my mother-in-law's after I left. So,
That's
but
funny.
my wife got a hold of it, used it, was amazed by it, and now she's telling me what I'm supposed to buy. Yeah, yeah, she's telling me. Yeah, when
That's
she saw
too
the
funny.
package, she said, "Who this?" And I said, "Oh, that's a content creator that I'm subscribed to, that happens to be subscribed to me, that makes her own soap." And she went ahead and used it, and I don't know if you can see it with the light.
Oh, okay. That's proof I sent it in 3 different boxes. The first ever box I sent you just returned to my house, and I know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to resend that box out as well.
And she wanted to know who Tara Helms were and what was my relationship with Tara Helms. And after I told her, I got back, I completely forgot because there was some other stuff going on. The kids going to camp, this, that, and the third. certain classes that extracurricular activity that they were participating in, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I never got to ask her if she used the soap, and I finally got to ask her, "Hey, did you use the soap?" And that's when she dropped it on me. That's when she said, "Listen, um, so this is what we'll be buying from now on." I said, "What? Like that?" So there you go. I mean, with no effort to try to convince her, and she's a finicky person, so with no effort to try to convince her, right off the rip, she tried the soap. She tried the one without the fragrance first, and right off the rip, that's it. So wherever she was buying her soaps before, that ain't happening no more.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be Tara Helm soaps. There you go.
I was hoping your wife got a hold of it first because I'm like, that would be sad if that soap got lost again.
No, we finally got it, and there was more than one case in there.
Yep. There should have been like 3.
Yes, exactly, 3. Yep. But like you saw, that case came like that. The package that you saw came like that, tore up, and some tool was with it. So I don't know.
It's
I didn't
some
know if that
weird
was some
stuff. Yeah, I need to start putting certified or something because there's some weird stuff going on with the United States Postal Service.
Yeah, that was really weird. She's asking me what that tool is. I don't know what that tool is.
I
Let me
would
see. There's
send y'all stuff UPS, but they're charging 3 times as much now. Sending
and it's
stuff,
funny because this administration is trying to break up the post office.
which is a stupid idea.
Yeah, and then they want everything to go by way of private entities like UPS and stuff like that. Which,
Would
just like
cost
you said,
more money.
it costs more money. It's more expensive. That's right.
He
I got it.
bankrupting people on purpose. But anyway, I was seeing if you got it. Yeah, I've been sick. I've been like real. Let me see. That's crazy. I didn't even send you that. I be thinking that they're tampering with these packages because it looks like they tampered with the original one that I sent you back in February.
Yep.
So,
Somebody's tampering with something. I don't know why they went ahead and it's soap.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. What did y'all think was gonna be in this box, boo boo?
Right. I mean, all right. You're curious. You want to know. You opened it. You checked it out. Put it back. Send it to me.
Yep.
I don't care if the soap is scraped up for you to test it or whatever the case is. Just give me my soap.
Like who
Yeah.
steals that?
Yeah. What the heck? Maybe the soap is that good. Did you give samples to somebody else before you sent it to me, Professor? Maybe they got a hold of it, used it, and said, "Whoa, now we're gonna have to take some of this."
I
Yeah.
know DeAndre got his, and I just sent my dad some more at the same time I sent you some.
What'd your dad think of it? Did you speak to him about it?
That was funny because when I called him this past Sunday to check on him, I'm about to get in a hot bath with your soap. I'm like, oh, okay.
What?
Because I called him later than I normally do, and he just wanted to take a hot bath and relax.
So the way I'm going to promote it is I'm going to take the soap and I'm going to record myself in the shower while lathering up with the soap.
Yeah, we don't need to see that. You could do it.
Going
You
like
could
this?
you could just take your hands in the sink. No.
I think that
We
I
don't
think that
think
would sell a
so.
whole lot more.
No, we don't think so. Stop.
No, that's not good. That's not good advertising. That's not good marketing.
No, I'm glad your wife liked that because people.
Oh, she loved it.
Oh,
She didn't
okay.
like it. She loved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she loved it. Yeah. So she already, she asked me straight up, "What are your intentions with the soap?" So what you mean? You know what I'm gonna do with that soap? What are you asking? She said, "No, fool. Are you gonna be buying more? You better be buying more." She said, "You better." It ended up with, "You better be buying more." That's what it ended up with.
I still got some smaller, rough cut bars of that original batch, and then the other batch that's already curing will be done on exactly Memorial Day.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what's going to happen tomorrow is that for the first time, I'm going to start adding fragrances.
Okay.
There's going to be a lavender one, and there's going to be a male one I call Talisman Major. I think that's the one I'm thinking.
What?
Or is it Blue Collar Baby Boy? It's one of those two.
Blue collar baby boy. I like that. I
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
I like that. Oh, here we go. Brandon's coming up. By the way, Rosana, if feel free to come up. If you Brandon, what's going on?
Hey guys.
Oh, I thought you
Hey,
was
Brandon.
at work.
No, I was driving home. I just got home.
Oh, good.
Welcome
Good
home.
to see you guys. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
We're here, Brandon.
Wherever he is, it's all kind of flashing lights or lightning or something.
Who, me?
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, you.
I'm in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. No offense.
Ah. Mm.
I'm so glad you got that soap because that was
Oh.
stressing me out. I had a bad week. with
I
this-
was stressed out too because I haven't been bathing because the soap.
No,
hasn't
we
run.
didn't ask you that. We didn't. We're not doing this tonight. We didn't ask you that. I can't believe your wife loved that. That makes me
She
so
loved
happy.
it. Loved it. She was very impressed.
People
And she's
have
funny
been,
about stuff like that.
and I believe it too. A lot of women are.
Yeah, they're funny. She's funny about that kind of stuff.
That's impressive. I'm glad she liked it.
Yeah. Yep. Can you make bubbles with them? I don't know.
No.
what fragrances were in the ones you sent with the ones that you sent, your first batch, Miss Helms.
That batch is not exactly a fragranced bar. It's more of oils and stuff.
Oil.
So that batch had shea butter, coconut oil, pumice olive oil, and castor oil. And then I made it with distilled water and then aloe vera gel and aloe vera juice. I'm thinking his wife being a New Yorker, she might like that type of moisture because
Well,
of the
actually,
weather.
she wasn't raised in New York. She was raised in the Caribbean. She was raised in Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she probably appreciates the coconut oil and all that.
Oh, okay. She
Yeah.
probably knew it was in there. Yep.
She could probably smell it or sense it or
Aloe
something.
Vera's local there too.
Aloe vera is awesome. Aloe vera.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen, make one with gin and juice too while you're at it. Okay.
Let me look into the gin. I could probably do that.
Okay.
No, because look, what I'm saying though is
Man,
that
listen.
like I just have to, because when you add alcohol to homemade soaps, it'll speed it up real fast because of the high sugar content.
Oh, okay.
Now it'll make for a good soap bar because people been doing it with whiskey already and wine.
Can
And beer.
diabetics use that soap? So long
I
as they don't
think
eat
so.
it, right?
Yeah, they better not eat that.
Add it to their salad, shred it.
No.
Shaved.
I'm happy. Yeah, shaved.
That shea butter. That shea butter is the bomb. Butter. Yep.
Y'all cracking me up.
The thickest lightning bolt just went by. Wow.
Yep.
You're in
People get
tornado
it.
country, aren't you?
I'm
Yeah,
in.
you sure-
I'm in tornado. Yes.
Oklahoma get more of them than Alabama. Good night.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm looking around to see there's some pretty strong winds. And you know, sometimes they hit at night.
Yes.
And G. So I'm looking
Okay,
around.
go.
This load is heavy, somewhat heavy enough. But like, what was it? Like a month ago, I was in New Mexico on I-20, and there were 3 trucks on their side. The wind was just too strong, and it just tipped them over. 3 of them. two going westbound and one going eastbound
That's
on
been
I-20.
all over the news. Those storms ain't been no joke. I'm seeing semis all over the road. I'm like, are they okay? Did they?
No, well, the drivers are, but that's a scary experience. It never happened to me, but it happened to a friend of mine, and they had to once they got him out of the truck, they had to take him to the nearest store and get him some new underwear because
I'm sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it'll do that to you. Yep.
yeah, it's that kind of experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now this rain is coming down hard, real hard.
You might sleep like a baby.
It's scary to me because I know I'm in Tornado Alley. So
Oh,
if I start hearing what do you call that?
The sirens.
No, the what's that?
oh, the one that goes ooh.
No, the icicle. Those little chunks of ice. What do they call it? The
Hail.
Glaciers.
hail. Once that hail starts coming down, I start really getting nervous because that's usually part of. Okay, so it's a sudden drop in temperature,
Yep.
hail. You better start looking up. Those are two signs right there.
Yeah, because it's coming for you.
It's coming.
See, I
And
just
I was
learned
driving
something
across.
new.
Yeah,
I just learned
and I was
something new because I grew up in Florida. We don't have many tornadoes.
No, I drove by one, I think Cat 1 in Florida, in just above Ocala.
Uh-huh.
I was driving on one of those. I wasn't on the highway. I was on one of the roads, and it swept right by me. But it was a Cat 1. I knew it was a Cat 1. But it was nerve-wracking nonetheless. I was heavy. I had picked up some watermelons, so I was good. I was like 80,000 pounds. So that didn't do much. Now, Wyoming, you gotta be careful on I-80 in Wyoming. There's
Really?
there's a specific area in Wyoming where you get those 70-mile, 80-mile gusts of winds.
That's enough to tip you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if you're heavy, it's a good idea. Well, sometimes they just close the highway, but if you're heavy enough, you can get through it. It's still nerve-wracking, but you can get through it.
Yeah.
But if you got one of those Amazon loads, one of those light Amazon loads, it's a wrap. You're gonna have to park and wait for the winds to die down. Otherwise, you'll be on your side. So I don't recommend that.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
video that
Professor.
you had that short, man.
Which one? The short?
That you just put up. That was not fun, man.
Now, the professor's going to be interested in yesterday's live or yesterday's recording of the live because I went into detail about some, oh my goodness, the things that truck drivers have to go through. Just some of the things. That one right there, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. I'll let you guys see it because that's tough. Do you know what I mean? So I opened up the live with the title "A New Face in Town," and it's basically about when Jesus rolled in and how he and the interaction between him and the Pharisees. I didn't identify the fact that it was the Pharisees, but it was with him and the Pharisees and how they approached the whole thing with Jesus and how they just came to the conclusion that we got to off this guy.
Yep.
Which never really stopped. That kind of exchange. Hey, Auntie, how you doing? Wow. Hey, Auntie, feel free to come up if you want to. The link is somewhere. I think I think I did something with the link right there to make sure that anybody who
Up at the
comes in can
top,
see it and
usually.
come on up. So you can come up if you want, Auntie. So yeah, because being that it's Good Friday, I figured I'd touch on the subject.
Yeah, we were busy
touch on
today.
that thunder. What at work? Oh yeah. I can imagine the country club. I bet that was wow.
Yeah,
Was it bubbling?
mostly Catholic members.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah.
The
So this weekend's a
Catholics.
big thing.
I bet Memorial Day weekend gonna be tough for you, huh?
That Memorial Day is generally, yeah, it's gonna be our last one. But I think Memorial Day is pretty much our closing weekend. You know.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it'd get busy.
Yeah, well, we'll be very busy, but it's the last weekend we're open for the members. You know, and then I switch over to I go into the maintenance department and work maintenance department the rest of the summer.
Oh, okay.
So I get 40 hours a week. It's actually more relaxing because I only got to concentrate on one thing at a time, you know?
Oh.
Them bathrooms. Yep.
Well, it's mostly
work-
painting and doing all the overhaul. I actually been working with the floor tech the last few years. So refinishing all the wood floors and stuff like that. So I'm indoors.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did maintenance at a mall. That was a challenge.
You've done everything, huh?
I wore many hats, man.
Me too.
Like I was a delivery boy for a Chinese restaurant. That was interesting. That was really interesting.
No,
What was your most interesting delivery?
What's your
that
most
you can
interesting
remember?
delivery?
Huh?
What's your most
What was your
interesting
most-
delivery?
The most interesting?
Yeah.
Probably the cab, working as a New York City cab driver. Probably the most interesting.
No, when you were working for the Chinese as a
Oh, when I was
delivery
working
guy.
for the Chinese specifically,
What
is
was your most?
is interacting with the with the Chinese chefs, man. I used to they used to teach me a lot of foul language, and
Yep.
so I had learned a lot of bad words in Cantonese, and every now and then I would just blurt it out to some cook, and he tossed burning hot oil at me,
Oh wow.
and I'd take off running, grab the orders. But this was in the Upper West Side, so at this particular time, the Upper West Side was gentrifying, so I didn't encounter any dangerous situations for me. I was like 14, 15 years old, riding around in a bike. So I didn't represent a target for the remaining members of the population that would have done somebody harm. I was just a kid. So I'm riding all over the place. I'm going to different people's homes. I think all of the homes I delivered to were wealthy people who bought apartments in the area that cost millions of dollars at that time. We're talking about
Oh wow.
81, 80.
They tip you good?
Some of them tipped me, yeah, very well. Some were miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, miserable. But and I discovered what Plato's Retreat was. You guys know what Plato's Retreat? You should know, Brandon. Plato's Retreat.
It's a restaurant,
It's just
I believe. Right?
it's a swingers club.
Oh yes. Okay, yeah.
It's okay.
Right off
That's kind of that kind of
I've heard of it.
Yeah, right off of 73rd Street and Broadway was Plato's Retreat. So I'm delivering to that building and all this. I see a line of people in front of this place, and I'm thinking, damn, this is a club, man. Maybe one day when I get older, I'll be able to get into the club and go party. Come to find out, it wasn't that type of party. I said, oh, okay. Okay, that's what it's all about. But I remember uh, I did a delivery for the Chinese restaurant that was right next to the entrance to the Beacon Theater on Broadway. The Beacon Theater was between 74th Street and 73rd Street and Broadway. And there was a store right next to the restaurant, Arab store. And me and my buddy Mike, who became a New York City firefighter, and I never knew what happened after 9/11, if he was a part of that or not. But me, Mike, I think Roy, no, Roy, was Roy a part? No, well, Mike, definitely, me and Mike. And we're at the Arab store next door and we're looking around. And then one day I go into that Arab store by myself and the guy is offering me a way to make money or a way to help out or help me or whatever you by um, performing oral sex on him.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, isn't that
oh,
fun?
oh, oh, oh.
Needless to say, weeks later, he became a target of our disagreement with his approach to everything.
Oh, that's
So we kind of
interesting.
vandalized the store a little bit, not a lot, but vandalized it a little
Oh,
bit. Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
yeah. Neither was I.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's
Hmm.
that type of
Yeah, he was pretty
Friday.
blunt. He was pretty blunt about it too. He says, "You come here, and come time you X my thing." And I said,
Oh,
"Yeah, just like that." Like, wow, okay,
oh.
yeah. And
and you were a young
I
man
did
at the
some.
time, right?
Yeah, I was like 14, 15 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I was also a dog sitter, a babysitter. Um, what else did I do at that time in my life? I also did deliveries for a pharmacy. Now, the most interesting thing that occurred in that pharmacy for Alan Moldau and and Kitty Graves was serving as. I hope Kitty doesn't get upset that I mentioned her, but Kitty Graves was also who was she was a doctor, but she was working alongside Alan. I don't know if they had a thing or not, but I was under the impression that they had a thing. But uh, yeah, Kitty used to work in the pharmacy with Alan. Did you hear that last name, Professor?
Graves.
Yeah,
It sounds familiar.
it should. Her uncle was Earl Graves. Earl Graves
Oh,
was the owner of uh, what is it, Black Entrepreneur or something like that? I forget.
yeah. Some. Let me look him up right quick. I was recently researching him too.
Yeah, that's Earl Graves' niece, Kitty Graves.
Oh yeah, founder of Black Enterprise.
There you go.
Now that's still a huge magazine to this day.
It's about as big as his sideburns. You see his sideburns? Yeah, that dude got some sideburns on him. Good
Yep,
Lord.
he died in 2020.
Yep. So Kitty is his niece. Yep. And so I used to do delivery. Okay, so the biggest deal with the delivering at the farm again, uh, high end customers. But there was this one visit because my friend Roy was the main delivery boy there. It's just that when Roy wasn't around, I used to uh, I used to
Pick
fill
up.
in for Roy, or I used to work together with Roy. He would take off in one direction, I would take off in another. So Roy was big into high performance vehicles. He loved them. Roy was maybe a year younger than me. I think at that time I was about maybe 16 or 15. I don't remember. But here comes this short guy with a toupee on. I'm pretty sure it was a toupee. It looked like roadkill was on top of his head. So I'm pretty sure it was a toupee. Guy had a heavy accent. Heavy accent. And the owner, Alan tells me, hey, why don't you do you like cars? Why don't you go for a ride with, I forget his name, have him take you in his car.
Oh,
I wasn't into cars, but it was a break from delivering, so I said, sure, why not?
oh.
And I'm going to tell you right now, this guy had the heaviest accent in English. So I started to talk. I realized he's Spanish, so I started to speak Spanish, and that was a relief because it was tough to understand. Not only that, it wasn't just tough to understand because of his accent.
Right.
I'm willing to bet that at that particular moment, that dude was so high on booger sugar.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was insane. This guy was like, and he was amped up, and he was driving like that too. He would be, listen, this was a Porsche Carrera that he had imported from Europe that was not governed. His engine was not governed by the authorities. For those who don't know, the Autobahn in Germany, the highway, the Autobahn,
Yep.
there's
Yeah.
no speed limit.
Yeah.
So there are. So if you're doing 65 in the Autobahn, people will be driving by you like you were standing still.
Yeah.
So the police used to use Porsches in order to chase people down. Okay, so
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's that type of car. So this guy imported one of those cars to the United States, paid off. Yeah, yeah, paid off. Paid off customs, so that all he had to do was change the panel to make it look like the engine was governed when it wasn't. Yeah. So I'm strapped in, and this guy's talking to me and going like this and geeking out. And I'm like, oh, damn, okay. It's gonna be that kind. Oh, see, now the whole truck is shaking.
Oh,
The
I
whole
see that
truck is
rain. That thing is
Yeah, I
giving
can see
your
it.
truck a bath, man. Your truck is getting
Oh,
full
this wind is very strong because I'm at about 78,000 pounds, and it's rocking me like,
I can
oh, it's
see it.
rocking right now. Can you see how I'm rocking?
Yes.
Yeah, can
That's the wind. This is serious right here. I don't know.
Did you
Well,
check the weather in your
let me continue with the story, just in case I get blown over or something.
Oh,
Anyway.
jeez. End up in Oz.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if Dorothy is flying around with a house or something. So this guy's geeking out, and he's telling me about his Porsche, and he's telling me about another high performance vehicle that he had removed all the speaker systems and all the entertainment systems so that he can put in radar detectors from a fighter jet.
Jesus.
What?
Like, what the? Yeah, I'm like, what the hell you need that for? I'm
This
saying to
guy
myself in
wasn't
my
playing
mind.
around.
Oh wow, you know some crazy people. Wow.
And this dude, he takes off on first. Well, first he gets out. He takes off on first, moderately, because we're in the street. We're on Amsterdam Avenue. So he takes off. Everything is all good. But when we get to the highway, he puts that sucker in second gear, and I needed a spatula to scrape my head off the seat. That's how much torque that thing had. That thing had an amazing amount of torque. And he's in third gear, and he's already doing 65, 70 in third gear.
Oh,
And it's a 5-speed.
That's crazy.
and he's talking to me, looking at me, while he's about half a car length away from the car in front of him. He's looking at me.
Jesus.
He's not looking ahead. He's looking at me.
Oh,
Geeking.
no.
Geeking. So he got out of the highway. I mean, he's weaving in and out of traffic. And he got out of the highway. Now we're going southbound on Broadway. And this 3-year-old, he must have been 3 years old, just ran out into the street.
Oh no.
Thank God that Porsche had some really good brakes, or a really good brake system. We were like a car length and a half away from hitting that kid. And he was coming down Broadway pretty fast.
Yeah.
But he's geeking. He's still geeking. We don't come straight back to
The pharmacy.
the pharmacy. He takes me to an apartment on Broadway and 60-something Street, a high-rise building. He takes me to an apartment over there,
Oh, wow.
which has pretty much. Oh yeah, this is bad.
Yeah.
I just saw a flying object go by. So
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
So the apartment is fairly furnished. He's got a bed and a stereo system. That's it.
Those type of people, they'll have an expensive car and don't have nothing in their house. Don't have no food in the cupboard. Don't have no clothes. Don't have no bed, no couch. That don't make no sense.
Well, in this case, as I continue the story, you'll find out why.
Okay.
This guy had I'll never forget the name of this stereo system, because at that time I never heard of it, but I looked into it and discovered that this is an extremely high-end piece of stereo equipment. It's Nakamichi. And this thing, at that time, I don't know where Nakamichi lies amongst the high-end stereo equipment, but back then, this was like extra high-end. This is like, forget it.
Yeah.
So if the dial went all the way up to 20, he had just put it up to 5, and already your ears were bleeding. I mean, it was incredible.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was booming. His stereo system in the Porsche was like that too. I mean, it was booming. He had like 20 speakers. He gutted the back. There were no seats in the back, and he had like 20 speakers. It was like crazy. So this, like I said, this dude was all over the place. He was on high speed all the time. This dude was accelerated. So when I get back to the pharmacy, he's telling Alan something. I don't know what he was talking about, but I did catch where he was saying, "Yeah, I have to go to Europe tomorrow." And then Alan's asking him, "So where are you gonna be? How long are you gonna be in Europe?" "Just a couple of days, and then I got to fly down to Brazil, and then I got to go over here, and then I got over there." I suspect, yeah. I suspect, yeah. I suspect that the guy was a high-level cartel.
Yep.
Colombian cartel. He was Colombian.
Soon as you said Brazil and he
Yeah. I was surprised he was. I think he was. I never confirmed it, but yeah, he was up there. He was high level, and I think because I was around people in my neighborhood that engaged in that kind of business, I saw one of my friends get approached by a cartel member. And the way it went down was like this. He came through. They had a conversation. My friend told me later on, this guy came with 10 kilos of
yummy.
that booger sugar.
Yep.
And he came back in 3 days. If you didn't have his money, he wasn't messing with you. Simple as that. And the thing was, this guy was driving around in some beat up Datsun. This thing was beat up.
That's a smart undercover move, though. Don't be too flashy. That's how you get caught.
No, they don't flash.
Yep.
A lot of them were in Queens.
Oh.
Yeah, in a certain area of Queens, a lot of them. And there's no
Oh.
flash. You go hang out there. You go to a restaurant out there. There's no flash, and they don't deal with you directly. It's not like Washington Heights. You walk on Washington Heights. Listen, I'm over there visiting my nephew, and we're taking a walk on Broadway by 151st Street around there because we're gonna go eat or we're gonna go buy a hat or something, whatever the case was. But I'm on the same street, and I see this guy walking. There's two guys. They're walking from 152nd Street down 151st Street on Broadway, and then all of a sudden I see about 15 to 20 guys just run toward them and surround them. I'm thinking, damn, this guy's done. They're gonna break this dude. They're gonna beat his ass. This guy's done. He's getting jumped.
Right.
Nah, he wasn't getting jumped. He wasn't. They were trying to get his business.
Oh.
Yeah, they kept tugging on his arm, telling him, "Nah, come with me, come with." A couple of them got into an argument, saying, "Nah, he's with me." Nah, that's nonsense. He ain't with you. I just saw him come to that and the third. Mayhem and madness just to get this dude as a customer. I'm like, wow, this thing is crazy. It's so wide open, so upfront and in your face. But in Queens with those Colombians, nah, they don't know you. If somebody sent you over there and you went up to one of those guys, it was like Secret Skrull type stuff. They'll go, "Excuse me? No, I don't know. What? No, I don't know. Talk to that guy. I don't know." And you, like a ping pong, you be bouncing back and forth. Now, I think I did tell you, right?
Right.
There's a Peruvian family who I was extremely close to them. They lived right around the corner from where I live in the Upper West Side.
Right.
And there were two siblings, a brother and sister, who I used to hang out with. We used to hang out tough. We used to go to clubs, all kinds of stuff. We did all kinds of stuff together. Matter of fact, both the brother and the sister went with me to Dominican Republic on vacation on separately.
Right.
And the sister introduced me to a young lady who, I hope my wife doesn't hear this part, who I had a brief relationship with, right?
Right.
It was real cool. It didn't last very long. We wound up getting separated because he went one way, I went another, whatever. And like 30 years later, I come across the Peruvian girl. "Hey, have you seen such and such? Have you heard from her?" I says, "Nah, man. I mean, we separated so long ago. I never really kept in touch with her." You know whose niece she was, right? I said, "No, I never met her family. I never met her mom. I never met anybody." Said, "Oh, that's Pablo Escobar's niece."
Oh,
Said,
no.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
What? You didn't think it was
What?
important to let me know back then? I
Yeah,
think
right.
it would have been a good idea to let me know.
Oh, wow. That's
Oh, hell no. But it turns out that her mom is his sister, and she never approved of that lifestyle, never accepted any money from him, never anything. That was pretty crazy when I found out 30 years later,
Yeah.
Like, wow. Would have been nice.
Good thing,
I
good thing
don't
you
think
were
I
on
would
your
have.
best behavior.
Yeah, definitely. Kidding me?
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Yeah.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves not telling you that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Hey, listen, there's so much risky stuff that was going on in New York City. It was crazy. I mean, I worked for these Irish brothers, and it was in the garbage industry. I didn't ask any questions.
Safer that way.
Don't ask, don't tell, don't know, don't nothing. I don't know nothing about. And this was in Hell's Kitchen, so you could put the pieces together if you want to. But I don't know. I was never exposed to anything crazy. So I was just working with this garbage business. That's it. That's all I knew.
Looks like it settled
And
down a little bit by you.
it did. It did a little bit.
Are you okay,
Hopefully the
Mr.
worst one.
Myers?
Huh?
Are you okay? I hope you're not frightened. You look a little bit scared.
No, this is I was thinking about my past. That's what scared me.
Oh. Of course it
I'm
would.
surprised. You know, I was there was so many things going on in New York City, in the places that I live, and I just thank God. You know, it was really easy to get unalive, real easy, real easy, and not even participating in any of that stuff. You didn't have to participate because you lived on a block, and there were people on that block that you had to coexist with. There was no way around it,
Yeah.
and they were into some crazy stuff. And because of the crazy stuff that they were into, there were people that wanted to alive them, but the way they wanted to alive them, you could have been caught in the crossfire easily.
Yep.
And you could have been done. I can't tell you how many times I had to hit that floor real quick. Yeah. Head always on a swivel. And when you hear firecrackers, you hit that floor. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because it ain't like the movies. It
Yeah.
ain't like the movies. Sometimes all you see are chunks of brick coming off the wall. You're like, what the hell is that?
Oh, good Lord.
I can
Chunks of
imagine.
brick. What did
Yeah.
they have? Sawed off shotguns? What the heck?
They got all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. These guys. Listen, one
Sounds like
time
an
I was on
AK-47.
I was on Creston Avenue, right near the corner of Burnside in the Bronx.
Right.
And if you're standing in front of the building and you look to the left, you're looking up at around 182nd Street, 183rd Street, and right up around that way. It was already nighttime, and it sounded like a news report in a war torn country. That's what it sounded like. You heard you heard explosives going. You hear machine guns. You hear all kinds of stuff. You hear rapid fire stuff going on and bombs. Like, what the hell is this? The dealers up by 182nd Street got into it with the SWAT.
My brother is a paramedic, and he had to do his internship in Riviera Beach, Florida, which is in the areas. Some of those they're very bad areas, for here.
Yeah.
And he would come up to cars that just look like, he said that they look like they were Swiss cheese,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
They
That's
were
crazy.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
imagine.
These dudes had some artillery.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what the hell?
Usually
What
better
is
than the
this?
police, some of them.
Yeah. Well, not too long ago, I was at a hood. Not too long ago, I just stopped to get some coffee, and I got out of my truck. These guys must have been about, I don't know, maybe 30 feet away. 30 feet away,
Hmm.
and windows just open up, and all I hear is.
Oh, no. Oh, good night.
I hit the ground, but they were too close and they were too reckless. So once I got up, I started checking and see if there were any wet spots.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of times with your adrenaline,
Yeah.
you don't feel when you get hit. So I'm patting myself down, trying to check to see if I see any wet spots. And luckily, nah. but that thing was like you could hear it hitting stuff, and you hear the guns going off.
There
But
was a during Trump's first presidency. He
mhm,
was down in Mar-a-Lago, and I happened to be in the area. And there was a lady that she was either a famous blogger or YouTuber or something, but I guess she was in the Breakers Hotel, which is the north part of the island. And they tried to arrest her because I guess they called the police on her for trespassing or whatever, making videos or whatever. So she jumped in her car and just hightailed it,
mhm.
not knowing that the president at Mar-a-Lago was there at the time, and
Oh.
everything was barricaded off. I mean, they got snipers and towers. I mean, it's
Yeah,
drove through the police barricade. They
What?
opened fire on her. Yeah, this was during his first term. So now the way that the highway is shaped is there's a big curve and there's a wall. So all we hear is like, it didn't sound like gunshot because we were just hearing the echoes. But me and my buddy were in the smoking area, and we're looking around, going, "What the hell's going on?" And she just laying on the horn. Once we found out what happened on the news, I'm like, we could have been freaking shot in the head by a ricochet.
yeah, you could have.
Because
Straight bullet. Yeah, absolutely.
We had no idea. It didn't sound like gunshots, like I said, because
No.
she had gone around a corner and it was the perimeter at the main one, and then they just let her go. But
That's why I said
Yeah,
it's
that
not
was
like the
amazing.
movies. It's not like the movies.
yeah.
It's nothing like
But
the
once
movies.
once we found out, I said, "Man, I'm gonna hear a pin drop. I'm hitting the ground from now on."
Oh wow.
I have heard gunshots, but the one time that thing was so loud, but I was in shock. So
Mhm.
I'm in an elevator, and my friend's brother is in the elevator with me. And
It was in the elevator. It went off. Oh, excuse me, 1 minute.
no, whoever was after him stopped the elevator door from closing and just opened fire on this dude.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, open
Y'all,
fire.
y'all don't play up in them New England states. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, just open fired on him right there next to me, and
Oh wow.
and I got out of there, but of course, I let the door close. I'm in shock. I left the door closed. We went to whatever floor we pressed on,
Right.
and I just walked out. I just left him there leaking on the floor, and everybody in the building heard it, of course. But it's New York City. Nobody gets involved.
That's true.
Everybody minds their business. I don't know if he survived. I don't know what happened to him, but I found out days later from his brother that his brother had ripped off a Jamaican drug spot, and
That's not healthy.
they caught up to him.
Yep.
But I still don't understand why they didn't shoot me. Maybe because he ran out of bullets. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want another body under his belt. I don't know what it was, but
Sometimes
I didn't get shot.
Sometimes those people just go after who they specifically target.
And I
Even
thank
with-
God that was the case.
Yeah, but it's easier if there's no witnesses.
No witnesses. Yeah,
That is
that's
true.
why.
You're damn lucky.
But it's New York City.
But look
And-
at what Luigi Mangione did, though. There was
Yeah.
a witness who crouched down and thought they were going to be unalived, but he let that person live.
Right. And I'm not. I thank God that
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, shoot,
Yeah.
thank you. Because in all actuality, they don't like leaving witnesses. So I'm shocked that you are still alive.
I'm very sure, and that's not the only incident that has occurred where I was at the wrong end of a gun, and I got out of there.
Oh wow.
One guy was actively looking for me to do just that, over some misunderstanding with somebody else.
Hmm.
Looking for me to unalive me. Weapon in hand in the middle of the street. Where's this dude at? Yo,
Ooh,
my friend turned out to be a friend and helped me out. Dude,
that's good.
disappear. Go to the apartment, lock yourself in there. And that was his mom's apartment. Go to my mom's house, stay right there. And yeah,
Wow, even knowing the situation, he put you with his mom's. You know, that is a
yeah.
true friend. You know.
In the city, that is a friend. Because it's every man for himself out there, for the most
Yeah.
part. So I had good times in New York City. I can't say that I didn't. Those were some of the good times that I had. Barely making it.
I got a joke for you when you're ready.
I'm ready right now.
Oh,
Okay, and your first story with the truck going off reminded me of this joke because all right, let me know if I've already told this one to you, but it's a pirate and he's training his first mate. Okay, and they're going on the seas, and the lookout up in the crow's nest yells out, "Captain, 2 enemy ships on the horizon."
Uh-oh.
The captain looks at his first mate and he says, "First mate, get me my red shirt." And he says, "Okay." So they battle it out. They have this epic battle, and the pirates end up winning. The first mate comes to the captain and he says, "Excuse me, Captain, why did you ask me to get you your red shirt?" He says, see, that's very easy. I always wear my red shirt during battle so that if I get wounded, the men won't see the blood and they'll keep fighting."
Aha.
Oh, okay, I understand. Wow, that's great. So then, about a week later, the crow's nest hollers down, "Captain, 20 enemy ships on the horizon." Captain looks up at his first mate and says, "First mate, get me my brown pants."
All right. I can only imagine.
This sounds like that one.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
old
God,
brown
y'all-
underwear.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody got to know.
Oh, y'all crack me up. Oh my
Good
goodness.
Lord. Yeah, stuff happens, you know.
Yeah.
I saw Max. Max is so cute. Look at Max.
Yeah, he was loud. That's why I had to disconnect for a minute because he was getting loud and I muted it and I couldn't figure out how to unmute it.
Oh, he's so happy though.
Yeah, he is. He's right
Your
now.
neighbors,
He's
your neighbors give you a hard time because of Max, right? When he.
Oh yeah. They called the cops on me the other day.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Last month. Yeah, but I'm in a rural area, so it's the cops can't do anything. They showed up. I got to put him on a lead when I got people going in and out of the house so he doesn't escape, you know?
Oh, okay.
And I had people coming in to do the drywall in that room. So they were coming in and out, and I couldn't afford to chase them down. I got a friend who has a rabbit farm next door, like
A
a
rabbit
few doors
farm.
down.
Oh, wow. A rabbit farm?
Yeah. And he likes rabbits. So I'm really scared because they'll have heart attacks if they get scared.
Oh,
And
do
they-
they?
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. They'll just die. And I don't want to have to buy all those freaking rabbits, you know.
That's a lot of rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like 30 of them at one time.
Oh,
But
Lord.
anyways, once he found out that they were over there, usually beelines right straight there. And I mean, thankfully they're good neighbors and they'll help me get him. Because once Max is free, he don't listen. He's free.
Oh my God, he's out there.
He starts running, yeah.
Like my
But
daughter.
out here, it's not uncommon for people to shoot.
Like my daughter, you snuck that in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to hear it.
I had one of those daughters too. So
Oh.
Yeah, my daughter don't want to hear it. She makes demands. She don't ask, she demands. That's why occasionally I gotta threaten to slap her right in the face, and she laughs. She thinks it's funny.
She laughs.
Yeah, she laughs at that. I eat those. She's she's something else. I saw a video of this girl. She must have been in her early 20s, but she's on top of a stage, and she walks to the end and does a front flip off it. Then she starts dancing, and then she's I forget what they call that when you grab a barbell, and then in one motion you squat and bring it up to your chest, and then you stand and lift it. Clean and jerk, I think.
Yeah.
She did that. She did pull-ups. She did a whole bunch of acrobatic stuff, and I'm looking at her. I'm saying, "Oh my God, that's my daughter when she becomes a teenager." There it is. Yup. My wife put her in some extracurricular stuff called ninja class. I'm looking at my wife like, "Are you crazy? Ninja? Oh hell no!"
I took my youngest ones. I put them in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
When I
But this one's gonna be flipping around. She climbs everywhere. We had to put the seats on top of the table so that she wouldn't go into the kitchen and start climbing.
How old is she?
She just turned 3.
Oh, they're your little drummer girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be a handful. I already know.
Mm-hmm. No, I had one of those. Currently she's 19, but when she was 2, oh man, she was climbing up every cupboard. She was up. I'd come up. She's on top of the refrigerator, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
2 years old,
Exactly.
No fear. Yeah, and she was a handful. Let me tell you, her entire life. But I knew it.
Man.
I looked at my wife and I said, she's gonna be not easy.
You meet my wife, and I want to say no, she's average size, not petite. She's average size. And my wife is a big time Christian, right? She's big time with that. I can't use foul language around her, It's that type of situation. Yeah.
Like very strict.
Yeah. If I use foul language, she just stares me down and say, "Aren't you a believer? Why do you say that? Why did you?" I'm like, "Yo, sorry, babe. I'm a truck driver. That happens every now and then. Sorry." But my wife is she's an adrenaline junkie too, though. So my daughter came out like her. My wife.
Wow.
Yeah, roller coasters. My wife will jump out of planes, all kinds of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. My wife is like that. It was a real challenge. I'm not a roller coaster fan. It was a real challenge when I used to go to amusement parks with her, and of course she wanted to get on the amusement on the roller coaster, and I'm like, nah, I ain't down with that. But every now and then she would convince me, and I would hate every second of it. Right?
Hey,
until
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Until I got on one old wooden roller coaster ride that just damaged my back. So I said, thank God something went wrong so that I don't ever have to say yes again. But my daughter, oh my God, forget it. That's why we every year we get not just because of her, but because my 7-year-old also. But we get season passes for for Six Flags. So that they
Oh,
can
that's
just go
nice.
off and and do their thing, go out there and
Yeah, my oldest
enjoy
daughter
their
works for hotels in Orlando, so we get like pretty discounted rooms.
Oh, how
noise,
nice. Nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
noise.
Nice.
So you guys are both married. I got a question for you. Do you guys remember the first date or one of the first dates that you went on?
Listen, I don't remember the first anything, and I hate that because my wife, of course, my wife is gonna hit me with that question,
Yeah, yeah.
or start talking about the first time we did something. She knows what colored pants I had on, whether I had my glasses on or not,
Yeah.
at what time I went to the bathroom, down to the seconds. I'm like, yo, I mean, I'm terrible with stuff like that. So
What
I
about
wind
you,
up,
McCall?
I wind up looking like the bad guy.
That's bad because while y'all were talking about that, I just Googled the place in San Diego where my husband first took me, Sushi Ito, and it's
Oh my
Sushi?
God! See,
yeah, and it's permanently closed now.
that's sad. That's
Um,
sad.
now I never would eat sushi before that, and
Oh.
he took me, and I'm like, and then that's the first time I ate raw fish eggs.
Well, that was your first
Oh my
experience.
goodness!
Oh, that was
Have-
that was like eating a big old hunk of salt. I was mad. He's like,
Oh, you didn't like those?
it's not like I tricked you. I'm like, but that was nasty.
Oh,
And then after that, he let me have like California roll and all the other bougie stuff I preferred, and then I was good. And then I found out about spider roll, and then I got over it.
Not this.
you like the spider rolls?
Oh, I love them. That fried crab. Ooh, yes,
Yeah.
ooh.
People go nuts for the soft shells.
Oh, I
Damn,
do.
Professor.
Ooh. The
You're
first
sounding
time
off the alarm right there, Professor.
I get a whole spider roll to myself. I ain't sharing either.
Oh my! Oh my!
Yeah,
Is that good?
yeah. You don't mess with my spider roll.
Uh-oh.
The crunchy,
Uh-oh.
delicious taste. Get it with a
Yeah,
lemonade. Get it with a lemonade. Yes.
when I was brave enough to hang out with my older brother. Yeah, 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 just like that. Yep.
I know
You gotta
where this is
understand.
going when he
This was
says
the tough
stuff.
guy?
Huh?
This was the tough guy?
Yeah, certified.
Okay. I remember your stories.
And like in Dominican Republic, we used to just eat all kinds of raw stuff. And we would get oysters, clams, drop some hot sauce and squeeze a lemon on it and just slurp it down. And yeah, I was intoxicated. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So of course I would do it. But later on I discovered that the dangers of eating raw seafood, raw crustaceans.
Oh
is,
yeah. That can come back to bite you. Even I won't do that.
That's fun. It's funny you should say it like that. Come back to bite you because people tend to get that bacteria that eats your skin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot more dangerous than people understand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be careful with that. They carry that
I think
bacteria, and some people, you know, they lose limbs and lose their lives with that bacteria.
Yeah.
It eats you
Especially
alive.
either older or younger people are more susceptible to food-borne illnesses. It's more serious for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or pregnant.
Yep.
Those are your main categories that you've got to really be careful with, you know. I mean,
Well,
as a
I look
professional.
pregnant, so yeah.
Are you lactating?
Well, yeah. I mean, Drinking a lot of beer will do that to you.
Oh, wait, Mr. Burns, you got issues.
Yeah, well, you might. Yeah, my parents would have agreed with you.
I'm glad that storm slowed down. It looked like you ain't rocking anymore.
No, I ain't rocking. A lot of water, but I ain't rocking.
You'll be sleeping like a baby tonight, though.
I'm taking
Now,
off. In another. Let me see.
Oh, I didn't know
What?
you were getting ready to leave. I thought you was about to hunker down for the night.
No, it ain't that kind of night for me.
Oh, okay.
I got another hour to go.
You just taking a break?
No, I had pulled over. I got some sleep, but you know, I don't really have a sleeping pattern because of the nature of this business. I don't have
Yep,
a sleeping
I
pattern. So
understand.
there are moments that I'm like earlier. I was getting fatigued. So
Oh, wow.
if you get caught driving fatigued, you're gonna get locked up. So
Yeah.
it was time for me to look for a place to pull over. I pulled in, and I got what I thought was a lot of sleep. But when I looked at the timer, I had slept 3 hours and 48 minutes, and I was wired after that. So I went, got something to eat, got myself some Odium,
Yep.
and I decided to do this live.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did. I haven't seen
Yeah.
you in a while, man.
Yep.
Good Friday, so I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
Jesus' encounter when he showed up.
Well,
And
now
how
that Mrs.
terrible.
Holmes is here, you can continue because she might have a little input to put in on.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. She knows all about that. And the main point about that exchange between Jesus and the Pharisees, which is what I was talking about,
Uh-huh.
is how the power structure unjustly accused him, and it still goes on. That
Oh,
kind of stuff
shoot,
still
yeah.
goes on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going on today. Went on last week.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So y'all know about them emails people are getting now and letters from the Department of Homeland Security telling them they have to leave the United States immediately.
Yes.
What? No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh,
What?
you did? Oh, yes. Ooh, you got a lot to catch up on.
They're basically giving them a chance to go before they become criminals.
Voluntarily?
Yes.
Yep, before they become criminals.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
getting ugly, Mr. Burns.
It's getting kind of hectic.
Yep.
It's getting kind of hectic.
Hectic.
Oh,
I should write a rap. Should write a rap song like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Homeland was doing that.
Yep.
I was at a pickup, and for the first time, there was a sheriff posted at the entrance.
Right.
Oh, really?
This was in Arkansas, and to be fair, it was my first time there, so I don't know if that's always been a common thing. But with the roundups that have been going on, I thought maybe that this quite possibly be part of that roundup, because in this industry there are a lot of undocumented drivers out here.
Yeah, that came up on somebody's YouTube too. What's going to happen with the undocumented drivers?
I'm being a Floridian. We're mostly an agricultural state, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with the agricultural economy here.
No kidding. Yep, it's already.
Well, that's
started.
why.
Yeah.
That's why they got rid of the child labor laws in Florida, or getting.
Yes.
Or in the
Did you
getting
see
rid of
that?
it.
Isn't that freaking crazy? I talked to somebody at work, and they said, "Oh, well, that's kind of good for kids that are not going to be in school, that are dropouts." I said, Yeah, but think about it. I said, how
Those
many
aren't the
kids?
only. Those aren't the only. That's not the only age group.
Yeah, but I mean, just think about how many kids like myself, if I could have worked full time, which I did, I was working under the table, but I dropped out of school to get a job and make money and start,
That's understandable, but they're not just talking about 17, 16-year-olds. They're talking about 12, 13, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds
right now, no,
working.
it may eventually end up that way, but right now on the books in Florida, it's 16 and 17-year-olds. They're going to allow them to work full time.
Wow, we're going right back to the 1800s, boo boo.
Right?
We
The
are.
Industrial Revolution.
And adults were complaining. Here's the crazy part. Adults were complaining about the fact that companies were hiring children so that they can pay them less. They complained about that. They passed the child labor laws. Then it was the immigrants who were working for less.
Yeah.
So now they finally got something done with the undocumented immigrants that were getting paid below minimum wage. And I guess some people just don't get it. They're putting the blame on the wrong people.
Yeah.
It's the corporations that you need to blame.
I agree.
Because children and undocumented immigrants, they don't hire themselves. It's the corporations that hire them. So if you want to get mad at somebody who's not being patriotic, think about those companies that are going around hiring these undocumented immigrants, and they keep quiet.
Do you know how many I don't know, migrant workers work for the Trump Corporation?
No,
that would be interesting. That would be interesting to find out because
it's a lot. Yep.
I know for a fact I had a girlfriend 20 years ago that was actually working for him, and she said that the entire staff is all even the kitchen staff is imported from Germany. At that time, I don't know about currently. But his golf course, everybody, and his excuses, well, he can't find workers locally. So
he can't find Americans he can't control.
Yeah.
Ass
yeah. I love all this stuff on China. You know where all of his products that he pimps out, all made in China. His Bibles, his ties, every last one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. But for some reason, some people just can't put it together.
I don't understand why, though. I don't understand why.
I have my regrets, so I get it now. Ooh, oh.
This guy's doing some serious damage.
Yep. That's going to be hard to come back from. People worried about their 401ks.
Oh.
A lot of small business owners. A lot of small business owners are suffering right now.
Suffering and going to have to close the gates, and then the big corporations are going to take over, and then it's all going to be it. I don't know if you remember. I think it's a movie, 1984, maybe.
Like the George Orwell book.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
I just read his book Animal Farm for the same reason. It'll scare the crap out of you.
Yeah. I haven't read that one. I did read 1984 though.
I need to read 1984, but Animal Farm ain't no joke.
Neither was 1984. That was like it was in the future, supposedly. But it's looking to be like our, like where we're heading,
Yep.
Yeah. Well, check this out, right? Here's the part that really bugs me out. I don't understand it. You got farmers that voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, and now, even after what they went through during Trump's first go around, they still voted for him But here's the part. Here's the best part of all. And I don't feel bad for them because come on, dude, this ain't your
Yeah.
first rodeo.
Fool
You
me
should know,
once.
but right, exactly. But this is the cherry on top of that cake. Uh, there are farmers that have already lost their land that they've had for generations, or that are at the verge of losing it, and they're being bought out for a very cheap price. They have to sell their farms below market value
Yeah.
Wow.
to corporations like the ones that the vice president is a part of.
Yeah, JD
Yeah.
Vance's hands are dirty now. Yep.
And I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't feel bad for you. I cannot feel bad for you. This is I mean they
I
chose
can feel
this.
bad for us because our
We're gonna
produce.
pay the price.
Yeah.
We're gonna pay the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, what do we got going on? We got a loss of confidence from investors throughout the world. That's not good.
Yep.
No. No.
That's really bad. And one of the things that investors throughout the world are concerned about is the rule of law here. They're very concerned about that. One of the biggest attractions for investors throughout the world, for business owners throughout the world, was the standards that we held due
And,
to the rule of law.
and the security. Yeah. The respect
And
of the
now
law
that's
here.
now that's
That's
in
going
question.
right out the window. Yeah. And more
They
and
believe
more
they
instances in
think
one, not just in the financial aspect of the government, but in every other aspect, just about.
they think
Scared.
Florida's tourism is going to take a nosedive after he ticked
It's
Canadian.
already taken a hit.
Oh yeah,
Tourism in the United States has already taken a big hit. Yeah. There are
I can
people,
imagine.
there are Europeans have declined, Canadians have declined
Yep.
coming
Well,
here to the
down
United
here, it's
States.
a big Canadian. Let me rephrase that. We have Canadian snowbirds are, they own homes down here. You know.
They're
Um.
getting rid of them.
Yeah. Yep. They are. They're finding another place to go.
Yep.
Tijuana is just the same weather as Florida. During the winters.
And then um, First Amendment. Look at what the administration is doing to Harvard.
Oh,
Yes.
that's messy. Yeah, that Harvard thing is messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pulling funding
I'm glad.
because they don't want them saying just anything.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
They want to be able to control them, basically. And I like the quote that the Harvard president, I guess you
Okay.
say, said.
Kokomo's not happy with what's being said here. Where were your tears the previous 4 years? Change is tough sometimes. Focus on the good to come. You guys are goofballs. Okay,
Who
so
cares? Get out. Who cares? What that got to do with anything?
well, good things to come. I
No,
mean, I don't. How do you figure about good things to come? I'm not sure.
When the world is mad at us, what's good about that?
my concern is the loss of rights
Me
that
too.
we're slowly giving away, and freedom of press. as soon as he got into office, he took out American Public Media and NPR from the press conferences. You know, that was one of the first things that he did, and those are the pretty much non-biased, group affiliated. All they do is report facts.
That's what I'm saying. They don't take sides.
They don't take sides, but he attacked them like they were taking sides, and then wants to take away their federal funding, etc. I'm like, the reason that I listen to them is because they're non-biased. You know.
Yep.
They just report.
Kokomo says, "Screw the rest of the world. USA all day. Our Constitution will be just fine."
You think this?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of disrespect going on to the Constitution at the moment.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about the Constitution being just fine. I don't think so.
What about the
Right now?
what was it that they're trying to put up a bill to remove natural citizenship? If you're born in the United States, that doesn't count as being a citizen.
Yep, that too.
Now I tried to explain to my mother, who voted for this guy. I said, you realize that pertains to you as well. I mean, if they can consider you not a U.S. citizen, even though you were born here. You know.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the 14th Amendment, if you were black, you weren't American. You were not a citizen.
That's true. Yep.
Guaranteed citizenship.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live did a skit on that a few weeks ago. It was George Washington's dream. And Kenan Thompson. You know who that is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The actor. And he kept saying, where all men will be equal, including color. And George Washington just kind of skipped the question and just started talking about something else. You know? It was actually pretty funny. It was a pretty funny skit.
Yeah, so this birthright stuff, I guess a lot of people have no idea what kind of direction that thing can go in.
I don't think they do.
Here's hoping this year goes fast and we get to the primary.
Yeah, I think I'm of the belief that we're pretty much all set. Now, the judicial branch is getting crushed.
Yes.
Thanks to the Supreme Court, of course. So the judicial branch is getting crushed. People used to be able to brag about how this country has
checks and balances.
3 checks and balances.
Yep.
But that's getting tore up. So the judicial branch is getting tore up.
Yeah, your boy tearing that up from the floor up. I told you I regret my vote. I didn't know he was gonna be doing all this old stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, he's going all out.
Somebody said something to me the other day, and it reminds me of you think back to like the hard times, World War II, things like that, you know. And it's hard times create soft people. Hard times create trying to think of it how he said it, but basically when times are tough, it creates tough people. Tough people create soft times.
Right.
Which creates soft people. If that makes sense.
Well,
I think everybody's kind of everybody's gotten very complacent in this country because we haven't had much we haven't had much dilemma for a while here. Everybody's
was-
we've had it good. We've had a lot of fat and not a lot of lean.
exactly.
Yep.
And now everybody's comfortable with that. And when people start doing stuff, it's unfortunately it's the way that I mean, you know history, Mrs. Helms. You've seen this. I'm sure you've seen this a lot of times.
Remember, we had
Through history.
we had that stock market crash in 1929,
Yep.
Mhm.
and we're approaching 2029.
Yeah.
100-year. Yeah.
Yep. People better wake up.
Well,
Look how Putin took.
well,
Look
the
how
conditions-
Putin took over Look how Putin took over. And created the government that they've got now.
That's true. Yep.
It's just a very similar to what can happen here, and people say that it's oh no, like what's this guy's name? Cosmo. Oh, we're safe. Yeah, okay, keep telling yourself that.
Yep. I don't feel safe.
well, we help open the door for the wealthy class to take
Mhm.
over.
Yep.
Yeah.
We help that, and the wealthy only care about themselves and their own wealth. They don't give a damn about the working class, the middle class. They don't give
Yeah.
a damn about them. They're just a means
Mhm.
to an end. That's it.
That's it. Yep.
But there's so many people that help project their plans, help repeat their propaganda to convince
Yep.
others to come on board and go along with that,
Hmm.
just to get screwed in the end.
Yep.
And then by the time they do realize it, it's too late.
Yep. Like these
Essentially.
farmers. Like these farmers.
Yep.
I I've never seen so many F around and find out videos pop up on my when I scroll. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I thought Project 25 was a lie. Now I know it's not.
It's very real. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Heritage Foundation, they're the ones behind that. Yeah,
Weirdo stuff.
it is. It is. But once again, so many people went along with the propaganda, and I can't really, propaganda is a powerful tool. Very
It really
powerful.
is. Yeah, I can't
Oh,
blame. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what level of education you've reached. You can have a PhD, you can be a doctor, you can be whatever, masters, you can have whatever you want. You will still fall prey to propaganda.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
the way
I agree.
yeah, because the way, human beings, their thought process is not it's not how should I say, it's not totally cohesive.
Right.
Yeah. Then you throw emotion into it, and then the emotion screws up
absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely. The emotional factor, yeah. The triggers, like in propaganda, like propaganda will use words that they know that trigger people emotionally, and once you're triggered emotionally,
Right.
you become defensive, and it's easy to start injecting certain things, derailing you from your thought process, and start including certain things.
Yep. It makes sense. I mean, and we're already there. People don't see it.
Oh yeah, we're in it.
We're fully in it too, and no, and these people are living it up, partying it up. I'm like, y'all just don't know.
Well, one thing I was recommending in previous videos, and that was to get rid of your tattoos. Do something with them. Get rid of
Yeah,
them, because
yeah, because they usually go after those type people.
in those types of societies where my family came from, yeah, if you had a tattoo, you were going to be disappearing.
Look at
Oh
the El
wow.
Salvador guy. They don't even have any proof. Let me
He didn't.
rephrase
You know
that.
what?
They haven't even.
That's a case where you can point out the fact that there was no due process, which is something that
Of course.
was was one of the things that people here in this country can be proud of and be able to say, because there are countries in the world where there is no due process.
Yes.
You're accused and you're gone. That's it. That's how it was back home. Back home, you were accused and you were gone. One of the biggest accusations you wanted, if you wanted your neighbor to be unalived, all you had to do was accuse him of being a communist and he was gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was it.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's how it was. Somebody went to your house, knocked on your door. They wanted to borrow some sugar or whatever. They wanted to ask you for sugar or butter or whatever. You opened your door, and from where they were standing, you should have been able to see a picture of the dictator right on that, somewhere on the wall, somewhere. And then if they didn't see that, all they have to do is go to the police station and say, "Hey, I think this guy is against the government," and that was it.
Ugh.
That was it. They were coming to pick you up, no questions asked. There were 3 facilities that you could wind up in, and in all those 3 facilities, the procedure was torture and eliminate.
Oh.
Torture, get a
Yeah.
confession, and that was it.
What kind of confession? Because if you're getting tortured, you're just going to want them to stop. So you'll say anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would that'd be it. No investigation, no questions asked. Was the person cleaning the wall at the time that the person popped up and they put the painting down so they can clean behind the painting or behind the picture or whatever? No questions asked. You
Oh.
were done. And the military and the police, in many cases, served as judge, juror, and executioner right there on the spot, right on the street.
Oh way.
I hope it doesn't get
Yep.
that way here.
Listen,
I hope I'm gone and back to Jesus before I do. I don't want to
listen,
live to see it.
with the stuff that's going on, that's why I try to encourage people to go to my community page and learn a little something about what it's like to live under those conditions, because there's stuff that goes on now. There's stuff that people do now that is not going to work. Like the First Amendment, there ain't going to be no First Amendment. Only on paper, but not in practice.
Nope.
Well, that's what's happening to Harvard right now. That's what it's about. So in order for you to be able to
Well,
survive,
unfortunately, it doesn't matter what the laws are. It's if the executive branch isn't willing to enforce the current laws and picks and chooses, doesn't matter what laws are made. And if they've got they got no consequences by ignoring the the judicial system, then we're screwed.
yeah.
And that's what's kind of starting to go on right now, and it's a constitutional crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me most.
So Kokomo is
Did I lose you
asking,
guys?
why should Harvard get
We're
Fed
listening.
money to promote propaganda? How do you determine what's propaganda and what's
Yep. This is a free country. I don't have to like what those college kids do and say if they want to go scream, if they want to not shave
I
their
was just about to
underarms and
say.
stuff. Yeah, just let them do what
Yeah.
they do. That's their time in life to do that. I don't have to agree about the cry closets
exactly?
college campuses
You're-
have where they
you're-
get to hug teddy bears. It's their right to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
That's
free
what.
to
That's
speak.
what.
It's freedom of speech. That's part of the Constitution.
Right.
You know.
And also,
And-
it's your freedom to decide whether you're going to accept that propaganda or not, and do whatever it is that you're trying to be convinced. That's part of the freedom. That's the freedom that all these dictatorships hate about the
Yeah.
country. And that's
Yes.
one of the things that they criticize this country about the most. So if you're sitting up here calling everything that's in question propaganda, there's a good chance that you're probably from operating from one of those nations, those authoritarian nations, because they absolutely hate. Oh, this is interesting.
What's that?
Force taxpayer to fund ideas they find abhorrent is tyrannical. So what about these? What's your opinion on these authoritarian nations that force people to conduct themselves abhorrently
Facts.
on their whim?
Facts.
Which ones? Seriously, which ones? Are you serious? Which ones?
Oh, it's comedy night then.
Yeah, that's
And
a pretty funny question. Which ones? So
Just give
you don't know of any authoritarian countries in this world? You don't know of any?
Oh,
Is that
He hasn't heard of Belarus then.
Belarus? No, he's never heard of that. He's never heard of Russia. He's never heard of Venezuela, Cuba. He's
China.
never heard of these places?
I'll be back in 1 minute, guys.
All right.
What's
What,
that?
like-
Okay. What?
Is it like Kazakhstan and because
Well,
we
here's
can
the thing.
become that.
Here's the thing, Kokomo. You're bringing up these talking points, and you're acting like some of this stuff is non-existent anywhere in the world, but you want to question what's going on here. Apparently, somebody that's in power here is concerned about what Belarus feels about us. It's important to him,
I am.
and he has expressed that. We have a person that is concerned about how authoritarian nations opine.
You're fortunate. I think it ain't supposed to rain to what? No, it's gonna rain tomorrow, I thought.
So Kokomo, I suspect that
Oh, or is it gonna be Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, it is next week. My bad.
I suspect that you don't really want to engage in real conversation. You want to inject some type of frame of thought.
You can't take everybody else's rights away just because it doesn't go with along what you think. You don't like Harvard, just don't mess with it. Ain't that hard?
Exactly.
Just leave them
Exactly.
alone.
That's one of the things about living in a society where they have more freedoms than other. That's one of the things. You don't have to agree, but if they're not putting their hands on you, if they're not trying to take you down financially, you don't have to agree with anything. You can there are people here that live their lives and they live a certain way and they don't like how other people live, but they don't bother them, and the other people don't bother each other.
Exactly.
But authoritarian nations don't like that. They don't like that. My family comes from an authoritarian country.
Oh, I heard of Trujillo even growing up. He was a mess. I just didn't know the extent till I met you.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Okay. How can I not mess with it when it's my money funding it, when they make a ton of money through tuition and grants, and I can't say anything about it? Absolutely, you can say whatever you want about it. That's part of what living in this type of country is, the fact that you can say something about it. That's what having First Amendment rights are all about, that you can say something about it. But in Harvard, they don't want you saying something about whatever, which is contradictory to what the First Amendment is all about. Yeah? Your wife is from the Soviet Union? How did you meet her? Did you go to the Soviet Union to meet her? You see how this could devolve into nonsense? How did you meet your wife? Did you go to the Soviet Union? The Soviet Union, that's an old phrase. It hasn't been the Soviet Union for a while. So are you a communist? Are you a sympathizer of communism? How did you wind up meeting your wife when you was in the army in Germany? So what did you do? You crossed over the border or something? Are you one of those soldiers that sympathize with Soviet talking points and you wound up crossing the border? Or if she's from the Soviet Union, how did you meet her?
It is.
Isn't it?
Yep.
When the USSR collapsed, so why do you call it the Soviet Union? If it collapsed, it's no longer the Soviet Union. It's Russia. So who's influencing who? Are you influencing your wife, or is your wife influencing you? And if you live here in the United States, yeah, you say that, but I wonder if you sympathize with the commies, because you're pumping a lot of commie talking points. You are. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Yeah, I'm wondering if your wife influenced you or what the story is, because so you claim you hate commies. That's what you're saying, but your conversation is not giving that impression. Your conversation is giving the impression that you actually do sympathize with commies. That's the statements that you're making and your line of questioning. Otherwise, why would you be angry about being allowed to express this? And this is the capitalist nation. So if funding a university is a problem for you, the same university where people come out and become the leaders that choose to continue funding it? Well, you're the one that was acting like what authoritarian regime? What, like you didn't know that you couldn't name one. You didn't even try to name one.
Huh?
Didn't want to start.
Okay.
You didn't even try to name one. Why tax money?
I love you.
Well, it doesn't have to be tax money. The money can come from just the wealthy class. And if it does come from the wealthy class, maybe they can dictate, well, guess what? If you're not
I don't.
wealthy, you're not getting a top level education. Sorry.
May I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't think that this person realizes what the university actually does, and as far as like curing diseases and the scientific things that it does and advancements that Harvard's made in many different aspects to better the American citizens to begin with.
It's
Because if
because
that was the case, I mean,
this person is not concerned with that. This person is concerned with nitpicking certain aspects of our society.
yeah, you're talking about because you're going to censor what the students say. You're more concerned with censoring what the students say than what the benefits that the school actually develops. That doesn't make sense to me from
He
his
wants you to
from
give
his
him
part.
one in the last 20 years. One what? One what in the last 20 years?
I'm sorry. Is
He's
he talking to me?
asking, yeah, he's talking to you. Give me one in the last 20
Oh,
years. One example of
I'm
something. I don't know.
driving. I can't look it up. Miss Burns, do you have a computer
One
available?
benefit? One benefit? One benefit of what, Kokomo?
No.
Are
What is Harvard research?
do you dislike the fact that with the type of system that we have, we generate the best or damn near all of the best things that societies throughout the world are benefiting from? From Harvard. What about Harvard? Well, you want an example of what a benefit from Harvard? So you don't know? You don't know the benefits that come out of the students and the teachers from Harvard. You don't know? How could you not know? Why would you make that an argument and you not know? Listen, all it takes is a quick search. You can use Bing, you can use Google, you can use whatever you want to use, and you'll find it. A nice laundry list.
Yeah.
Do you think you stumped anybody with that question? You didn't stump anybody with that question.
Not really.
You want me to look it up right now? I can't what? Name it off the top of my head? What does that mean? If I can't name it off the top of my head, what are you trying to say? That it doesn't exist? Okay, then I'll find you one. I'll find you one.
Look here, at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I gotta be up at the butt crack of dawn to make soap.
Okay. What time is it now?
It's 9:32.
Okay.
This person's
Okay.
vexing you, huh?
Well, it's great to have people like this because it makes you work.
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and share this. Let's share this. Harvard University research has significantly benefited societies in numerous ways. Okay, so this person's just asking for one, but let's give them more than one, including advancements in medicine, technology, and social sciences. For example, Harvard's research has led to breakthroughs in obesity treatment. That's one. Organ transplantation. That's two. And even contributed to the understanding and potentially mitigating climate change. Okay? There's three. And those are just three out of many.
I was about to say, I was running into my studio. I'm sorry I got disconnected. I was running into my studio because I tried to look up while I was on the phone, but I couldn't. But
That's
thank
fine.
you.
So that's three. So apparently, Mr. Kokomo doesn't do homework. Or Mrs. Kokomo, whoever it is. I don't know if it's him or his wife. That's BS. Ozempic, climate change. What point? No, you lost your point, buddy. It's not, you didn't make a point. You lost your point. You asked for one benefit.
Where did Ozempic come from? We were talking about LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and pro-Palestine. Like, where did Ozempic?
Right.
I'm
This person is all over the place.
Yeah, you're like all over the place. You need to stick to one thing and be consistent with it, because
And when you're proven wrong, just admit that you're wrong. That's it. That's it.
Ozempic threw me off.
Nonsense. This person is accusing people of having talking points. He asked the question. The question was answered. He was wrong. And this is how he responds. This is infantile. This is the type of behavior that occurs amongst young adolescents.
Like a 3-year-old whose parent gave him the wrong snack pack.
Yeah, basically. That's basically what this behavior is. So I imagine that Kokomo doesn't engage in conversation with people who have a higher education than just junior high school. That's probably not where Kokomo's at. Kokomo is very, very simple, very basic. And
I just don't get the whole Ozempic thing. I don't. What is that alluding to? Just confused.
Listen, keeping people thin. Listen to the nonsense. Look at this nonsense. Harvard should, just admit when you're wrong. That's it. Harvard should get taxpayer money to keep people thin and the world cool. No, Ozempic is not just for keeping people thin. Ozempic was designed for people who had serious problems like diabetes. Again, you approach this thing like a 12-year-old.
It's their body. If they want to use it, let them. Yeah.
Can I just this is something that just blows my mind, which I don't even understand it exactly. But Harvard has made breakthrough discoveries on various fields, including vaccines, treatments, and policies. Recently,
Even
a
more
team,
stuff than what I mentioned.
yeah, recently trapped molecules to perform quantum operations using ultra cold polar molecular. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Drug-free nasal
look,
sprays
Kokomo,
in cell
Kokomo, you're
biology, genetics, evolution, and immune systems. Okay, so those are just a few of the
Kokomo,
things.
Kokomo,
Research.
you're displaying severe ignorance, bro. Severe ignorance. You wanna push your talking points, your agenda, but when we try to clarify some things, you can't even admit when you're wrong. You can't even do that.
Keep
You
people
you can't
thin.
you can't you can't have an intelligent discussion. You're void of that.
Yeah.
This is all you're doing, all your responses, they're all emotionally charged. I'm sorry, Kokomo. Go to another channel and that will tell you the things that you like to hear,
Because
that
there's
you
plenty
enjoy,
of
that you
those.
like to. Yeah, plenty of those that you enjoy to repeat. The people here on this panel right now, they have their own life experiences.
Our own minds.
Yep.
Uh, world class culinary, military, uh, finances, and you're coming out crazy, bro. Like,
We are quite the roundabout group, aren't we?
Yep.
yeah, yeah. You was in the army. Good for you. I got high ranking family members in the military that have served. That not have, they haven't just served, but have been on the front line of major confrontations. What? So, I mean, if you want to go from that angle, well,
There's a veteran here with us right now talking.
absolutely. So I don't know. Maybe you should keep talking to your army buddies that have the same opinions you have. You mentioned something about a what do you call that? Something chamber, echo chamber. That we're in an echo chamber. You obviously don't know what you're talking about. You didn't even do the homework before you opened up before you start typing crazy ass opinions like that. You didn't even do your homework. Yeah, man, you're in bad shape, Kokomo. Straight up. Try at least to do some type of homework before you engage with the people that you're engaging. That was totally ignorant. I didn't even. This guy this must be a bot. To be honest, this has to be a bot,
Or a troll.
No.
a troll or a bot, one of the two. Nonsense.
Troll.
Oh my god. Well, I'm entertained by it, obviously, because I'm engaging. So I'm entertained by it.
indifferent. I'm indifferent.
No,
Everybody
it
got
is.
their
It is.
opinion.
It's entertaining, and the fact that he's continuing the conversation is amazing because most of them just shut down and stop talking, and it's either it's all because of Hillary or whatever. I'm
Right, it's
speaking for
Hillary's fault.
the MAGA guys.
No, you're right.
know.
A lot of people do
Usually
that
you don't
nonsense.
get
So
any
it's Biden's
conversation.
fault, Hillary's fault.
Yeah.
It's everybody else's fault.
Yep, it's Barack
You know what? I've
Obama's
encountered a
fault.
lot of people. Yeah, I've encountered a lot of people like that make terrible life decisions, and it's somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. make terrible life decisions.
Oh, yeah, turn this down.
And yeah, it's always somebody else's fault. I know somebody who wound up borrowing a large sum of money after we had a conversation as to what to in the trucking industry. And I was crystal clear about it. Under there have to be certain conditions before I get into a truck again. This person wanted to argue with me. No, this is the best time. I said, okay, I'm not going to argue, because like I always preach on this channel, when it has to do with business and investing, I have to see or listen to the data and be honest with myself. I can't convince myself that things are
You have
better.
to take your emotions out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Bottom line, I got to take my emotions out. And what I saw was that
What did you see?
I lost
well,
him.
thank
He's
you,
silent.
thank you for that. Thank you for that, Kokomo. I appreciate that. And good night. So
Yeah, because I'm not mad at you. I just disagree with some of what you said.
Yeah, good
I
night,
get it.
Kokomo.
yeah,
I get it. Harvard has got a lot of young nut jobs that are entitled. I won't take that from you, but they have a right to be nutty and entitled. That's all I'm saying.
well,
And
I
are
agree.
they really all nutty and entitled? I don't think so.
let's hit some serious history right now, Professor. You ready? Because I know you love history.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Spanish Empire. The Spanish Empire lost their way because those nutty, fruity people that were gifted in certain areas, they were sent to the front line to die.
Oh.
Which means that technologically, Spain didn't get a chance to advance, while other European nations didn't do the same thing. Like the French, the British, they didn't do the same thing. They didn't send all their bugged out, gifted people to the front lines. They kept them somewhere else so that they can develop technology. And as a result, the Spanish Empire wound up collapsing and
Yep.
giving way to the French, the British, the Germans.
That's why we have the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, in which the United States bought $18 million of land, which is today California, New Mexico, anything around the Rio Grande, because Mexico had to fight Spain from the lower end and us from the upper end. And well, Spain wasn't doing too well anyway.
Yeah. However, these other nations, they were able to particularly the British Empire was able to capitalize a lot more.
Yep, but the Brits got to sit back and watch the Spanish failures. You got to remember, when Portugal and Spain were out conquering the world, Great Britain didn't move yet. And so by the time Great Britain moved, they got to learn from those empires' mistakes. This is why Portugal is nowhere near on the level it was during the slave trade.
Nor the Spanish.
Or the Spanish, they don't have many natural resources like Spain did. Because people have to remember, they eat something in Spain, I think, called jambon, which is really ham. That ham stems from that time when they finally kicked the Moors out, and the pigs couldn't just roam the countryside anymore because you could not eat pork openly when the Moors were in Spain.
Right.
So a lot of things you see are there. So Great Britain, sitting to the way north, got to learn about Spain's mistakes. and Portugal's mistakes. And this is why most of us speak English and not Spanish and not Portuguese and not French. Now, Napoleon was stupid because he thought it was cool to take his happy butt and try to invade Russia in the middle of a winter. It's vast and big.
That was brilliant.
That was brilliantly stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. This is Russia in the middle of the winter, boo boo.
Hello.
Whoa. That's why Germany didn't last, because over 100 years later, Hitler thought he could go do the same thing, and Stalin served him up on a silver platter.
Did not learn his lesson.
Yep.
History repeats itself.
It does.
It's
unfortunately,
you know.
It's repeating.
It's unfortunately, but it does. That's why I don't. When it comes to money and business, I stay away from the emotions. I stay away.
Yep,
I see it for what it is.
See it for what it is. Don't care for no party. Do whatever. Go with whoever's going to be the best for you at the time.
Well. That whole party affiliation is like being a member of a gang, and that's all emotional too.
And that's the problem, and people don't see that.
Yeah.
Both sides are lying to you, y'all. Why do you and everybody? And the one thing no one is checking. Why are some of the Democrats, besides the one that went to El Salvador, so quiet? Nobody questions that.
No, because the Democrats, for the most part, you have some exceptions. Of the two parties, the Democratic Party are the only ones that have like a handful of exceptions. But that handful they can't do anything because the vast majority of the Democrats are the same as the Republicans. They're just the other side of the same coin.
Goes back to what I said, Animal Farm with George Orwell.
Yes.
I gotta read that.
Yeah, you got to read that book because in the end, you won't know who's the enemy and who's the friend and who's the foe. That book, yeah.
What's one of the same things? What are one of the same things that Democrats and Republicans do as politicians? They're jockeying for money.
Yeah, they go for the lobby.
From where? From where? From billionaires and lobbyists.
Yep.
Nah, not Bernie Sanders. Not Bernie Sanders.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There are exceptions. Only in the Democratic side, there are exceptions, but there's such a small number of people that they can't really impact the party as a whole. The party as a whole operates the same way as the Republicans do with regards to what their end game is as an individual, which is to get reelected. And if you want to get reelected, you gotta appeal to the power structure, meaning those with the big bucks. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
George Washington's farewell address. I'm not telling you to read the whole thing because it's long. It can read like a novel. But the part where he basically hinted that political parties was going to ruin this country. And he fought in his presidency not to have them. And in the end, they started taking over. And we ain't been right since.
Yeah.
And what year was it that they allowed for super PACs and all this other stuff? The court decided that it's okay.
Oh wow!
So that now tons of money can be poured into a campaign and give them an exceptional edge. And who's running with that? It don't matter what party it is. Either party is running with that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently, what was they upstaged it even more. Just recently, within the last, they put the minimum amount.
So here we go. We got tons of people repeating talking points during election years, and they're so distracted they don't realize you're helping out the very people that don't give a damn about you.
Facts.
They don't give a damn about you
because they really don't care. To be honest,
they don't. They just need your vote because of the way the process works. They need your vote, but They know exactly how to work their propaganda and convince you to repeat their talking points, convince your neighbors, convince your family, convince your friends to run with you, use marketing techniques,
Hmm.
and then after they get voted in, you're applauding, you're clapping. So what?
I'm
The same
done.
thing happened with Obama.
Thank
It's
you.
like look,
Thank you.
in the black community, the blacks that voted for Obama were under the false impression that this was Moses. He's going to
Yep.
deliver us.
He's gonna deliver us. Yep.
Why? And I was asking people at the time, why were you under the impression that this man, who I use the analogy of a dolphin, if you perceive him as a dolphin, he's got to go into a tank full of sharks. How is this man going to survive in a tank full of sharks unless he starts conducting himself as a shark
Or a dolphin surrounded by darn what you call killer whales.
or killer whales? They've got to conduct themselves as a killer whale if they're going to survive. Why do you think he's going to go in there and make changes for you when the people that he's going to be surrounded by hate his guts? And they went to they went so far as to proclaim this in public. We're going to do everything possible to stop this man. And now you're and you still think that he's going to do what you want him to do?
Yeah.
I don't think I think those people were emotionally wrapped up. This is the first black president. I mean that could be argued, but for the sake of not getting into that,
Yep.
this is the first black president, and because he's a black president, he's going to focus on black people. No.
I've grown up.
It's
I'm almost 50 years old. And in my life, I believe the best president that we've ever had in this country was Barack Obama.
okay.
Everything that he did, he was a very strong president. I didn't get that sense with any other president growing up. You know, I grew up when I was a kid and I first understood and was taught the stuff. Ronald Reagan was the president that I can remember. He's the first president that I can remember. Probably
Right.
Jimmy Carter. Probably Jimmy Carter was the, but I was too young to even know about that.
Right. No, I can understand that. That I can understand. But you probably didn't have the same expectations as black voters. There are a lot of black people who voted for Obama that speak against him because they didn't get what they were expecting from him. And when you listen to them, you realize that their expectations were not founded on reality. It wasn't.
Nope.
First, yeah, there's just
I've
no.
never heard. I don't know.
There was the woman that made the news because she was a black woman. She got butt naked and got in the phone booth and was saying that Barack Obama owed her more Obama cell phones or something. I remember she got real. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yep. I remember that. She wanted more free stuff and she thought because she was black and she took her clothes off and got in the phone booth. I remember that one.
Unrealistic expectation. There you go.
Yep. I'm like, you could have kept your clothes on to say that, boo-boo. You didn't. Yep.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have got the attention. We wouldn't be talking about it 20 years from then.
There you go.
I never liked Barack Obama, but I'll give him this much credit. He's the last president we ever had to where our diplomatic relations around the world weren't shot to crap. In other words, he's the last of the Mohicans, the last to act like the president should act.
Exactly.
After he left office, it was over for us, and I don't think people realize the magnitude of that. We're not going back after him. I'll give him that.
In my 20s, George W. II was in there, and his big quote was that I can remember saying, "Oh, I never planned on being the best president."
Yep.
I'm like, what? Why would you even say that?
You know, I appreciated Bush Jr.'s honesty.
Yep. Well, I really did, because he was blunt with some stuff, and I always appreciated that.
Yeah, I appreciated that. I didn't have great expectations for him as president, but I did appreciate his I mean,
his father, on the other hand, you know,
he wasn't the worst. He wasn't the worst.
1,000 points of light.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He wasn't the worst. Junior wasn't the worst. Junior, I'm left with the impression that Junior was really out to just satisfy his dad more than anything else.
Yep, that's what I think.
Yeah, just have a fun time. He was just there to do it, you know?
Yeah. And he wasn't ashamed of it. He gave the impression that he was doing it, but he was gonna have a good time while he was doing it. He wasn't gonna.
And a good analogy is some people are trying to get like monetized on YouTube and try to get, you know, they're really focused on that. And it's like me, I'm like, I'm just doing it to have a good time and have fun.
Me too. I don't want to get monetized on here. I'm not sorry either. I don't.
Don't get me wrong. I'll take free money, but you know, hey, I'm just here just to hang out.
Is it really free money?
No, you know.
Is it really free money? Because a lot of
Mr. Burris is funny. Is it really free money though?
Yeah, because some of these content creators, they have schedules. This is like a 9 to 5. The way they operate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like a job.
Yep.
It's like a job. You know.
YouTuber was just opening toys. I think this is back when my kids were there, and the reason I know this is because they used to watch all of these toy opening things when they were kids,
and they had millions of subscribers,
and they made $1 million from YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's like, and it never even showed them. All it showed was their hands. Let me try to get the video. It was just their hands opening packages. Never showed anything other than that. They were just opening toys. Oh, how cute, a little bunny, you know, whatever. It used to make me sick.
Yeah, and the same with my kids. They used to love watching some dude. Well, the one that's freshest in my memory is my 7-year-old when he was 5 or 4 years old. That he had a thing with dinosaurs, and there was this one guy that used to have these toy dinosaurs, and he used to play with his son, and this guy had tons of subscribers, and here he is just playing with his son, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this guy's making a fortune just playing with his kid.
Yeah,
you serious?
Yep.
And here I am with all this with all this serious content, finances, trucking, you know, political commentary at times.
I guarantee you, every kid that was on here tonight swept up.
Right up. I got to start bringing toys. If I want to get monetized, I got to bring toys.
Well, it depends what toys and it depends what channel.
Exactly. Yeah, YouTube might not let me get away with all the toys, but yeah. And you know, here I am with serious content, and I got 3 subscribers. I've been on since before YouTube started, and I got 3 subscribers. Yeah. Apparently, monetization is not something I'm serious about. apparently.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but
God.
it's all good though. I mean, to be honest, this is my this has become my meeting ground for you guys, my friends. This has been my meeting ground. That's what this has served as for me.
Yeah. Like
So
it's
basically,
like a relaxing social time.
yeah,
I want to say, I mean, for me, it's my social time because I mean, I'm married now. I've got kids. I used to go out to the bars and stuff like that, or whatever. But some people join social groups. I mean, I work for a social club. That's what I
right.
do. I work for. But I agree with you. This is more of my social time because night my kids are in bed and my wife's asleep.
Some adult
I,
conversation.
exactly, just some conversation, just to pass the time.
All righty
Well,
then.
not necessarily pass the time, but to get stimulus, just to speak with somebody. Like I'll give you an example. All right, my friend has got 2 children. One of them is 4 years old, and one of them's like 3 years old. Okay, so he's got 2 little boys, and he's been with them all day, and it's his day off. And I give him a call on my ride home from work. He's my boss, the house that I stay over when his kids aren't there. Those live videos that I was doing with you guys. Anyways, I call him and I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he goes, "Oh, just doing, just doing stuff around the house, stuff like this." I said, "Oh, well, I'll let you go if you're busy." He goes, "No, I haven't talked to a grown up all day." Stay on
Yeah,
the phone
see,
with a
yeah, yeah. And I've heard that before.
Uh-huh.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Well, all
Mhm.
Well,
righty.
the professor's ready, right?
Yep, I got to tap out. I'm sleepy. I got to be up at the butt crack to make
Oh,
soul.
me too.
Okay.
Me too. Have a wonderful night, guys.
You
Hey, it
too.
was
Have a wonderful
wonderful.
night.
It's like old times. This is my very first SteamYard was with you two, and it's
Oh
always
yeah.
near and dear to my heart when the 3 of us are together. I love it.
Yep.
And
I
pretty
love our
soon,
conversations. I love our conversations.
Yep.
when I get home and we're on here, I'll be soaping up right in front of you guys. I
No,
love
no,
that.
you won't
I
either.
absolutely love that.
We've had this
No.
conversation. We won't be doing
We're
that, okay?
gonna get a
I
hold of the
heard that
professor soap.
before I was on the live. I heard the comments.
Yep, I
Yeah.
knew it was coming.
Just
No.
make sure it's from like here up. Okay?
Yeah, at least or use just your hands, man. You can just do it at your hands, man, and run it in the sink.
Wow, you guys are certified haters.
Okay.
All right,
Well, you guys
Charles.
have a
Listen,
wonderful night. I know it's been a
Y'all too.
while, but it's always a pleasure to be with you guys.
Yep,
Always a
stay
pleasure.
fresh. Keep it profitable, guys.
profitable, yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Charles.